What is happening, people? Scarfe First Look here, back on one of these weekly shows, live on YouTube every Monday, 7:45 p.m. Today, solely based on England and the Switzerland game, and also moving into the Netherlands game. But we will touch on Spurs as well, don't worry. But to introduce a fantastic panel for this evening, firstly, Kallum, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. If I'd have known it had been an England show, I'd have run a mile and told you I'd see you next week. But no, I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Yeah, all good to see you in person, obviously, a couple of times recently as well. So, no, thank you very much for giving me your time this evening. Brad, you could have done that bad last week. You are back on this week.
Yeah, I know. November's come pretty quickly, isn't it? How are we doing in the league? No, I'm just really tired, sort of living the life of Riley over the weekend. Did a YouTube stuff last night for about 3 hours, and then working all day today, and so it catches up with you.
I can only imagine. Yeah, absolutely. And Teejay, thank you very much. How you doing?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay. Speaking about England, what a topic. There's a lot to say. There's nothing to say. It was boring like usual. That's the
I know how much you love England under Gareth Southgate. But we will get into it. We'll touch on Spurs though, don't worry. We will touch on that as well. And Justin, thank you very much. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I think before Wednesday I need to get another tin of paint because clearly that's the most excitement I'm going to get out of the Euros, watching England. But somehow we're in the semi-finals, so we just have to take it. So no, but thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to everyone who's listening in wherever you may be listening. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. It's free to do so, and it helps the channel on the podcast grow. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify, Amazon Music, or Apple Music, don't forget to give us a follow and a 5-star. We will get straight to it. And we will start with England, thinking back before the Switzerland game, before we won that on penalties. So, Kallum, I'll come to you first. What were your thoughts on the lineup? Because we saw that. Obviously we knew Mark Gay was suspended. We saw that Ezri Konsa come in. That was the only personnel kind of change. But we saw there could be a change of formation, perhaps Foden's position changing. So were you more excited before the game, knowing that perhaps there's a change in the way that we're going to play?
I was hoping there was going to be a change because hope is the greatest thing when it comes to England. You hope and you still be disappointed whatsoever. But no, I thought... the idea would have been that potentially finish like the last game did when seeing a three at the back with Saka and Trippier potentially in their right positions and all that, and then potentially seeing Foden and Saka or Foden and Bellingham maybe playing as 10s behind Kane. Yeah, I thought, okay, we probably got the prime style of Antonio Conte playing here, but potentially it could do something. And then when we all saw how it previewed, I just thought, yeah, same day, same tricks, just usual rubbish. Let's put it that way, mate.
Okay, fair enough. Brad, same question to you. What are your thoughts on the lineup? For me, I was thinking, okay, this looks better. Still wanted to see, Gordon, Palmer potentially, but it was better. Were you under that same kind of category, thinking it was better?
When I first lineup I saw, I had the three at the back, and before your time, Harry, Euro '96 with Venables, he played the back three, and his philosophy on the back three wasn't three central defenders and two wing backs. He played the one central defender and two fullbacks. So I think he had Gary Neville and Stuart Pearce and Tony Adams, and the lineup on Saturday was Stones as your centre back, and then you got Walker and Konsa as your two fullbacks. So I thought, that's interesting. Don't forget, Southgate was in the England squad in Euro '96 and would have actually been coached by Terry Venables. So and there's another thing coming up a bit later that I made me think of that as well. So I thought this looks a lot more promising. And for the first 10 minutes, I know we'll talk about the match in a bit, but in the first 10 minutes, it seemed to be working. But then it went back to the same old. But when I first saw the lineup, I thought, okay, he's actually trying to change something and be positive, because you had your Saka and your Trippier back in '96. I think it was Anderton and McManaman were your two sort of wing backs. So I looked at that, I thought, this could work.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. TJ, did you see the lineup before the game? If so,
Oh yeah, I actually watched it. The first Euro game I watched was this poor game, but lineup was you know what? Look, I expected Gordon to start. To be honest with you, we need someone like Gordon on the pitch. Personally, I thought that was a disappointment. But look, no matter who you're going to play, if the style is so pragmatic, what can you get out of this game? Let's be honest with you. We're not in form, and I feel like it's becoming a serious concern when we're going into the later stages in the tournament, when we're going against the better teams. They'll just pick us up. Because, okay, cool, no offense to the teams we've played, but we should be in increased control with all the players that we have on the pitch, in my opinion. The quality that is on that pitch should be walking over these teams. So, look, the lineup speaks for itself, you know. No Gueye. Yeah, it was all right lineup. Look, it's nothing new to say about England. I haven't even been watching the games, and I feel like I've been saying the same thing over and over again. You know, so what can I say? That's the lineup. I expected Gordon to start, to be honest with you, and I'm really disappointed that he's not using players like Gordon. He's choosing to stick to the team that haven't been performing. Let's put it like this, innit? And yeah, there's nothing much to say about it. It's just obviously you asked me to speak about the lineup, but there's a lot more to say about the actual game. So I'm just gonna wait because I've got a lot to say. This is the first game I watched, you know. Yeah, and it's diabolical. What you see on the pitch, it just doesn't correlate. We have we have good players. I expect a better performance. I hope you all agree with me, because going to penalties, come on, man. It was, look, no offense to the opponent. They've been playing well this tournament, but with the players on that pitch, I believe we should do better. But enough from me. On to the next question.
We will get onto tactics and kind of Southgate in general on the way that we approach games a little bit later on. So yeah, it's a perfect little segment, little pathway for later. Justin, TJ mentioned there Anthony Gordon. Did you expect him to start? Did you want him to start? Because for me, I was like, yeah, I want him to start, but do I think he's going to start? That's a completely other thing. Where are you kind of feeling before the match?
I didn't think he was going to start, but I'm with TJ. I think he should have started. I sort of looked at the lineup and I thought, okay, it is interesting. It is something new. But once we saw after like 10, 15 minutes, you know, been deceived and it had almost gone back to how it was. You know, it's a difficult one because you look at it and think, you know, we can be critical, but somehow we've stumbled our way into the semi-finals. So, you know, it is, you know, that is something that we have to take as a positive. But I do understand what others are saying in the fact that we will see probably, you know, something different in terms of how we react to the Dutch, because I think they've got much better players. I mean, I know I sort of said that Switzerland, I thought would steamroll us, but it clearly looked like the way we were going to be set up was to stifle them, which I find baffling. You know, that lineup to me was very much a case of let's stifle Switzerland rather than us playing to our strengths. So yeah, we got the win. The lineup, I wasn't overly sort of surprised because obviously, as we saw, the style didn't change. And there are players that are on the bench who I think have to think to themselves, how on earth am I not getting into this team? But we're in the semi-finals, so what do we know?
That's all that matters, really. You know, we'll get onto that later. You can, you know, play really well, like I think we did in Euro 2020, but not win the competition. But, you know, I don't think it matters. I think as fans, we get caught up, and maybe even guilty with Spurs. You know, we've got to play this way, got to win this, you know, play this way. But I just think 2 or 3 years' time, you're not going to remember how you played, but you're going to remember the result because it's there. You haven't got Google telling you the performance. You've got Google telling you the result, and that's ultimately all that matters. And I think football fans in general do kind of forget that, but that will come in to play a little bit. Planned a little bit later. But Kallum, I'll come back to you. That first 45 minutes, did you think, wow, we're a lot better? Yeah, we were a little bit better. It's the same old. Where are you kind of feeling? Because I thought we were better.
I thought we were better for the first 10 minutes, and then we went back to 35 minutes of wanting to, I would say, pull my hair out, but I mean, that's not possible. Let's put it that way. So it's one of them where the personnel that we had, I think, on the pitch was right. The style we had was right, but it's square pegs in round holes again, playing Saka right, Trippier left. Trippier had another stinker of a game. Saka's being underutilised. And I don't even think we had a shot on target again.
Until 80 minutes.
Yeah, so that's 2 games in a row now where we didn't even register a shot on target until the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. So it's one of them where the idea was right. The execution of Southgate ball is completely wrong. And if I could swear, I would, but I know that I'll get in trouble and get monetized or something like that for it. So we will see how that goes. But no, just 10 minutes in a game to look good. It literally reminds me of seeing Mourinho days at Spurs. You'll have 10 minutes good, you play well, you get a goal, and then you shut up shop for 80 plus minutes and all that. But we can't even score in the way that Southgate has got us playing. So another drab 45 minutes of my life that I'm never going to get back. Let's put it that way.
Okay, fair enough. Where's this positivity? We're in the semi-final. Where's this positivity?
Maybe you're just delusional, H. Maybe you're just delusional, mate.
I won't rule it out. Certainly wouldn't rule it out with some of my predictions, even in this tournament, but over the course of this season. Thank you very much, Kallum. Brad, I'll move on to you. What were your thoughts on that opening 45 minutes? Because it was 0-0 at half time. You could break it down into kind of first 10, 15 minutes, or just generally over the half. Were you, more impressed with what you saw?
First of all, I think, certainly myself speaking personally, when I watch football matches with teams like Spurs or England, to me it's a social event as well. So that sort of side of it counts as well. And on Saturday rather, I went to a different pub, not my local. And the first thing was the fact that there was no room inside. So we can't go inside, can't watch it inside because the tables are all booked. But we're showing it outside. Outside was in a little area, and the screen you couldn't really see because the sun was out and that sort of thing. And for the first 10 minutes, I thought England actually looked quite promising. And then people started to turn up, and there must have been some sort of kid's birthday party going on because there were millions and millions of kids all running around. So, to be honest, most of the game, I saw it, but I didn't really take a lot of it in. And the other thing was the screen was on iPlayer and it kept stopping and then starting again. So when you went into the actual pub to get a drink, you're watching it it was about a minute ahead of it. So you'd see the shot. I think it was a save that it might have been that first shot after 80 minutes. You see the save and then you go outside and you think, oh, I'm watching it again, sort of thing. So but the actual game itself, I don't think either team really created a lot. I don't think the goalkeepers had a lot to do anyway. I mean, it's just a really dull game. And then, when you get to the penalty to extra time and you get the penalty shootout, then the game sort of becomes irrelevant then. It's all on the penalties. And we actually went inside to watch the penalty shootout because, obviously we wanted to watch it in real time. And, and the penalty shootout, despite how we played, what a brilliant penalty shootout it was, we never used to see this with England teams. And we've apparently won 3 out of our last 4 penalty shootouts in major tournaments under Southgate. And it's interesting because during Euro 96, this is the second thing I want to touch on, they had a special way they trained for penalties. And basically what it was they'd take penalties against the goalkeeper, but they'd tell the goalkeeper where they were going to put the ball before they took it. And it turned out that when they took the penalties, they 9 times out of 10 scored them. So that meant that it gives you confidence in your ability to take a penalty. So when you go into that situation, you think, well, even if the keeper goes the right way, he's not going to save it. That maybe that's come into it. Maybe they've worked on that sort of psychology. I think with Southgate, yeah, we all disagree with him tactically. Of course he does. He's been very, very average and non-adventurous. His record as a manager in major tournaments isn't that bad. It's probably better than a lot of our other so-called wonderful managers that we've had. The caveat to that is, of course, well, if he had been a bit more adventurous, maybe semi-finals would become finals and finals would win. So there's both sides to each argument. But the actual game itself, yeah, it's still another game where you think, oh, we're going to really do it this time. Look at that positive lineup. Yeah. And going back to Teejay's point, you could have had Anthony Gordon as the left-sided wing-back. If you've got Saka on the right side, rather than have Trippier, who's not really an attacking, attacking player. Like if you say Saka, McManaman, Anderson, Trippier, he doesn't fit in there, does he? But if you say McManaman, Anderson, Saka, Gordon, it does fit in. So maybe they could have done that. But I don't think Southgate's going to make any. I was actually surprised he actually changed the actual lineup in the way that he did. But I don't think he's going to do anything major before the Holland game. And actually, TJ's point about when we meet a big team, they're going to sort us out. We probably won't meet a big team until the final. So
yeah, it's true.
And even then, it could be France, who's my tip for the final, who have been playing awfully as well. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, Denmark had done us a favour, didn't they? Really, by not winning their last game, and we had this lovely run through to the final. So can't complain.
And we apparently played Slovakia in the first match because I think they had less bookings than Holland. I think that's why we played them rather than Holland in that first match. So.
Wow, there you go. Proper road of luck, but that's all that matters. I think to win tournaments or to progress into you need that element of luck.
We celebrated like madmen when that final penalty went in. Let me tell you, and that's all you think about. You sit down, you have a drink with your mates. Oh, that's great! We're in the semi-finals. Wall. Sort of thing. You don't think, oh well, we won that, but wasn't it disappointing performance? You think, yeah, we're in the semi-finals. So yeah,
exactly. And as you say, it's a sociable event. It's about celebrating, because like if Spurs we played awfully but won a game, of course they're going to celebrate. There's been plenty of times we've been Sheffield United, a prime example at home. I thought we were dire. We never looked like we were going to break them down. We won 2-1. Of course they're all going to go nuts at the end because it's our team and we've won. That's all that matters. It's not. We know we've got to improve. We come up against bigger teams. It won't be the same outcome. But worry about that tomorrow morning on the training pitch. Enjoy the moment now because you just don't know how many of you're going to get. Just enjoy it while it lasts.
I said to a mate of mine when we beat Sweden, I think, in the World Cup quarter-final, and everyone's going mad and celebrating. He's going, no, it was only a quarter-final. I said, well, no, you've got to celebrate now because this might be your last chance to celebrate. And as it turned out, it was. We lost the semi-final.
It was around the corner.
And don't get me wrong, I'd rather be 3 or 4 goals up and enjoy the last 20 minutes of the game.
Of course, and so would everyone. But it hasn't happened, so so be it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you very much, Brad. TJ, Switzerland took the lead, 75th minute. What were you thinking at the time? Obviously, you admitted the first England game you've watched of the Euros. Were you thinking, England are out? Will they turn it round again? What were you thinking?
Harry, you know me, I'm a very tactical genius. Well, I wouldn't say I'm a tactical genius, but I watch a lot of football. I watch a lot of football. And like I said, I admit this is the first Euros game I watched, so I have a lot to say. Last week, man, I couldn't be asked to watch these foolish tournament games, but I've kind of analysed it. I'm going to say 2 things that are really controversial. You guys are going to either agree with me or disagree with me. What I realised about England and why I'm banging on about Anthony Gordon, we actually are missing 2 vital players, and I would actually have to admit this, but obviously after last year, how he performed in a Chelsea shirt, a lot of people kind of like turned a blind eye. But we are missing Sterling for me personally. It's a very controversial. It's a controversial thing that I'm going to say, and not a lot of people are going to agree with me. But I will tell you the reason why. Let's just put it like this: Foden is struggling. He can't play in this winger role. He's a natural attacking midfielder and he wants to float in the middle. When you have Bellingham that is also attacking, I would class him as attacking midfielder. You understand what I mean? He pushes forward. It's so difficult for a player like Kane to be the target man. And what you're actually seeing is Kane dropping deeper to receive the ball, which really and truly he should be a target man. And the reason why I'm saying someone like we're missing someone like Sterling, the same way when we saw Son and Kane when he was at Tottenham, Son would run off of Kane. He would get into them vital positions and create chances from the width. Now, we did see that on Saka's side, but we never saw Kane in the middle. I think, personally, it's a big... The squad... Look, we have Anthony Gordon, who's not getting a game. For some odd reason, Southgate just doesn't want to play him. I think he needs to change his... I would say his ways, because we're too pragmatic. I believe we're too pragmatic with the players we have. Look, I'm not saying you have to abandon your philosophy and abandon the way you want to play. But with the players that you have on the pitch, you have to play to their advantage. And clearly what we're seeing every single game, we're too pragmatic. We're not creating enough chances. And the chances that we end up creating is half-whittle chances. Now, as you just mentioned, they scored one. And look, again, I felt like it was a boring game. It could have been any way. Someone would have to score first. And look, we did end up replying back. Like, we did end up coming kind of like good with... Look, after 75 minutes, I felt like we did kind of play a much better game. Look, the first 10 minutes of the first half was quite good, but I felt like we came alive, and we're seeing this too many times. And I spoke to a lot of my friends that have been watching England. The one thing that they're saying, we're starting too slow. Why don't you just go and kick on? Try. It's all about passion. Football is about passion. We, as football fans, we go to games and you watch games for excitement. The reason why I watch football is for excitement. There's a reason why I don't watch a thing like cricket, because it's boring. You know? And we're not seeing the excitement. We're not utilizing the players that we have. The second controversial thing I'm going to say, and people are going to disagree with me, but I think the midfield is wrong. I believe we're playing with two attacking midfielders in Bellingham, and then we've got Declan Rice, but we need someone like a Jordan Henderson to control the midfield. And as much as a lot of people side with it, we haven't got the balance. The balance is not right this year. You can tell we're struggling.
I agree the balance isn't right. I don't know about whether we needed Jordan Henderson or not, but I don't think the balance is right. But it should be, because Declan Rice and defence should be enough. We don't need two defensive midfielders. And there was times 100%. Where Rice was so deep earlier in the group stage. They were just like, it just didn't make sense. I think that you have to have trust in that defence. We've seen from Mark Gay, who'll be back in the semi-final, John Stones, and when Luke Shaw comes back, that defence on its own, or just the centre-backs, should be trusted. Declan Rice should be able to progress like he does for Arsenal, takes some shots at the edge of the box, and that comes into your point, Teejay, being more ambitious. So I think that we need to be more kind of forward-thinking. I think Bellingham needs to be deeper. I don't really like him in that 10 role. I think the left-hand side of that, kind of like a 6, if you like, in that midfield will suit him better. And I think we're not seeing the balance. I think you are right.
And just to end off on my point, so I don't blabble too long, if Gareth Southgate is determined to play like this, and a lot of Spurs fans are going to disagree with me, you have to play someone that is a target man. Because we have too many floaters. Kane is passionate. One thing I have to say, he's passionate, but he's never in the right areas when we need him. He's either too deep. This is what I've noticed. I watched one game. I haven't watched all of the games, so I can't analyze all of Kane's move, but I've noticed in this one particular game, Kane was in the wrong positions. The amount of times Saka got by the byline and he crossed it, he kind of like crossed it in, and there was no target man. When when was it Ivan Toney? When Ivan Toney came on, it seemed like he was a better fit in the way Southgate wants to build. But see, if we're not playing to the players' strengths, what are we doing? What are we actually doing? Are we playing scared? Because against the biggest teams, like Spain, let's just see it. Look, let's just see the future. Let's just say we do get to the final. If we play like this, we're not going to have a chance. I want to win this tournament, personally. And you might
But is that not what we're doing at the moment, though? Because we are winning at the moment. Only just, but we're winning, right?
There's winning, but there's a way of winning, man. Let's be honest with you.
Surely it doesn't matter, though, as long as you get the job done, which England have done and which France have done, without making it look pretty.
To a lot of Greeks that from whenever it was, they won it.
Yeah, I mean, you get the job done, but I mean, you're literally causing yourself to end up in an asylum by the end of it, to be honest, aren't you?
It's a bit dramatic.
All right. Okay. Let's just say we was to win like this. Would you want Gareth Southgate to stay on?
Hell no.
Exactly.
No.
I was under the impression that he's going anyway, but maybe I'm wrong with that.
Yeah, his contract ends, I believe, so I think he'll go anyway.
I think he'll be going anyway. So
it'd be our luck though. The FA decides to get their checkbook out and sign him up to another 12-year deal or something.
But on the flip side, even though I'm speaking so negative about Gareth Southgate, if he does win this tournament, doesn't he deserve to stay?
Yeah,
because his record has actually
on results alone, on tournament results. Yeah,
he's our most successful manager in. Okay, cool. And it might sound crazy for me to say this, but his record states itself if you look at it. So, look, for me, Gareth needs to adapt, and he needs to play these players like. Look, we don't have Sterling, so we need to utilize players like Anthony Gordon, Palmer. These players have been playing well for their club, and they offer something. Give Watkins a run out. You just have to change something, because watching this, when it goes to penalties, I don't call that that's luck. Penalties is really luck. It's 50-50. Both teams, the way I see it, both teams can score and both teams can save. So it's 50-50. It's not in your control. But where you have the control is in the game. Am I not right to say that?
No, I'm not gonna agree. Because he had 5 good penalties and Pickford done his job, and Switzerland didn't. So I think
okay, but then on the flip side, when we lost the Euros against Italy,
where
you had Rashford, you had
Pickford done his job.
Yeah, you had Rashford that miss, you had Saka that miss, and you had who's the other player? And Sancho. Yeah. So now, are you saying that if they it's luck? It's all about luck. Penalties are the luck.
An element is luck, considering where.
So that means it's not in your control.
Well, it is.
I won't say it's luck.
You're controlling where you put the penalty.
It puts it on the individual rather than, like, football's a team game, but when you get to penalties, you're on the individual all of a sudden. I personally, I would scrap penalties. I'd get rid of penalties. I'd say play extra time, and if it's still level after extra time, you play the golden goal. Because when they tried the golden goal before,
yeah, but if England are involved, it might go on all night.
Well, no, I don't think it will. You see how knackered these players get. Yeah. And mistakes are going to happen. I don't think it will. It'd be nice to see if they did it in a tournament as an experiment to see what happened. I don't think it would go on any longer than 15 minutes. So I think players will get tired and tired and tired. And whereas when they had the golden goal before and penalties at the end of it, you had a lot of teams that are so scared of losing that golden goal, they defend and we'll get it to penalties. If you take the penalties out of the equation, then the golden goal becomes we've got to score. That's the only way we're going to win this game is by scoring.
Lois actually, on your golden goal point, says in the YouTube comments that he thinks it should go straight to golden goal after full time and skip extra time. That will save time, I think, that way, because they're all for player welfare. But they're like, play extra time, play penalties. Surely one of them's got to be scrapped. And I tell you what, Justin, I'll come to you. Before we get back on track with the game itself, where do you kind of stand with the extra time penalties? Do you think it's all right in its current format, or do you agree with like Brad's suggestion or Lois' suggestion?
I think to be fair, you know, the difficulty being is that if you go down the route of no penalties and golden goal, then you are running that risk of the game going on for another half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, really. And I don't think, because if you could counter argument in terms of player welfare, that you're putting them out there for even longer than what the game would actually go for. And I think also as well, if you're going on the basis of like, you know, where, you know, media and advertising and marketing comes into it and pays so much, particularly sponsorship, you know, are they going to turn around, particularly with scheduling, turn around and say, right, this, we're going to leave this on, but it might go on for, and I can't remember who said it, but with Southgate, it could go on for another hour, really. So, because I think it was clear anyone who was watching the extra time against Switzerland, that was it. And I do think that is where the worry would come to. If you went down the golden goal route, I think you would almost just try and bore the other team out until you saw an overture, but without really wanting to put too much of a gamble, because one goal you lose it. Whereas in normal extra time, if you concede, you've still got time to bring it back.
But what do teams, lesser teams in inverted commas, what do lesser teams do when they play a big team in goal in extra time? A lot of the time they say, well, we're going to defend because we can beat them on penalties.
They do, but I don't. Yeah. I don't think golden goal would really change that, because I think it's still.
Would it be punishing the smaller team though? Because in the end, the bigger team should pull through and that golden goal. Whereas small teams like in the FA Cup, I'm just thinking, you know, rely on that replay or rely on that penalty.
I disagree with that. I actually agree with the golden goal thing. You know why? Only because it makes you want to play. If you know that the next team.
But when does it end,
scores,
though? But when does it end? That's the issue we have.
I honestly don't think it would go for that much longer. These players are playing for 120 minutes, and then you say, right, next goal wins.
Well, it might be a push to get a goal because of the tiredness. That's the thing, or it could be the opposite. So I know what you mean. In some games it works, in some it won't, because there's so many dull extra times we've seen in this competition where there just isn't going to be a goal, even if we're still playing. So I like the idea. I don't think it's ever going to work. That's the reality. I trial it by all means, but I don't think they will.
I just think penalties brings it down to a team game, down to an individual level.
I think it's horrible penalties, the way it's done, and the pressure and the way I don't think it's fair when you put all that effort into go out on penalties. I never like that, but I think it's an easy option.
I don't even like watching penalties when it's not my team playing, because I just feel me being the lefty wokey person I am. I actually feel sorry that someone's going to miss. You know, so I watch penalties thinking someone's career is going to probably end today, you know, or it's going to be.
Ivan Toney's penalty made his career, man. He didn't even look at the ball. That was amazing.
I want Tony just for that. That is filth.
Yeah, I can't lie to you. I'm sold.
Filth.
I'm sold. You know? Listen, I was one to criticize Tony and be like, maybe we could get better, but for the balls that he had for that penalty, man, I'm sold. He didn't even look at the ball.
No.
That was pure venom.
He's a decent player. I mean, we'll talk about Tottenham later, but yeah.
No, but I get what he means by that penalty. I've watched it and I'm like, I just can't get. It's like this magic, how he just stares at him and kicks the ball and knows pinpoint where he's going to put it. I just thought that's filth. That is sick. That is not humanly possible. I thought this guy is possessed to be able to do that. It was just ridiculous. And I do think we would miss moments like that.
When Harry Kane missed that penalty against France, my first, when the final whistle went, my thought was, God, he's going to have stick at every ground he plays on now. You know, which is horrible when you think of it.
It shouldn't be like that, but it is, yeah. But get back on the game itself. Justin, coming to you in the 80th minute, Saka with a great strike. I didn't really see it coming. I think I did miss it. It was a really, really good strike. Did you see it coming? You know, Justin, because obviously we had that, you know, with Slovakia where they scored, but we turned it around. So did you always think, oh, we can turn it around, or do you think this time's different? We're gonna go out.
Well, at some point, if you carry on playing this way, you're going to get found out, and you're not going to be able to pull it back. I think the fact that, you know, for that 2 minutes, there was a spell of no fear because it dissipated the moment we equalised. You know, and the shot by Saka was just brilliant. It really, really was. But again, as I think we touched upon, you know, why is it taking us to go a goal behind? Because you're not going to get a Bellingham overhead kick, you know, every time to bail you out. Also, because if you look at the element of it, it wasn't, you know, both goals was a spell of brilliance by both. I think the shot was pinpoint perfect, and the overhead kick was sensational. You're not going to keep being able to do that. And I think, to be fair, when you look at, you know, what we're going to be coming up against, you know, we are now getting to the point where we've gotten through what we would consider the easier teams, and we are now coming up against the strong teams like the Dutch and either the French or the Spanish. So it was beautiful that we got it, but my worry was that it just had to be something out of nothing, and at some point you're gonna run out on that, because as we saw for the rest of the game, there was nothing else. It was that one shot. Thank you. Sit back, wait for penalties.
It was good that we got the equaliser pretty quickly after they scored.
Yeah,
I think it was about 5 minutes. That was really, and Saka does what he does for Arsenal. Cuts inside, has a shot. I've seen him do that so many times for Arsenal, and I don't think
he do it a lot for England, which is why I was shocked.
Our players have not done how they play for their clubs, in my opinion. They don't seem to do what they do for their clubs. I've always said, they should play in their club's kits. Maybe they might play better. You know? So,
yeah, if only. Kallum, what
there
a
is
strike!
One thing they do, but they did.
No, go on.
Sorry, there is one thing they do for England that they do for their clubs. They try and walk the ball into the box. They're too afraid to take a blinking shot.
Oh yeah. That was Tottenham's major problem last season. Someone shoot!
All of them tried to play Guardiola ball, and it don't work. This style of system.
Well, good strike though by Saka, wasn't it, Kallum? Did you see it coming as well?
I have to say we were second best at the best of times in that game, but no, it was a good strike. I think that it had to come at that moment, because if not, we was definitely going out. Because apart from them 2 moments, brilliance, there was nothing in that game apart from the penalty shootout, probably. So definitely something to be graceful of and grateful for that Saka actually did get it. Let's put it that way, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. TJ, the game, you know, after normal time, went to extra time, then penalties. We'll get on to what happened and the outcome and why. After we got that equaliser from Bukayo Saka with 10 minutes of normal time to go and added time, should England have pushed on trying to get the winner? Because we sat back, didn't we? And we kind of, it felt like Switzerland were pushing, you know, can they win it? And I was quite worried at times. I think we needed Jordan Pickford, we needed that strong defence, we needed Declan Rice to protect us. So, you know, if you're in Gareth Southgate's position, obviously I know you love tactics, what would you be telling your team? Would you be going, you know, push on and get the goal? Because we all know in football, having what Spurs, how big momentum is. That Sheffield United, we're down and out, we get an equaliser, momentum, and you push, and you end up winning the game. So just why? Why didn't England do that?
Because he's Gareth Southgate. He likes to defend. And even if that was not mind-boggling, he decided to take off Kane and he decided to take off Foden, right? Which was mind-boggling as well, because then even when you think about it, you want your main man to take a penalty. So to take off your...
I think Kane was injured. He actually said that he had cramp in his calves. He couldn't go on, I think.
Would you still keep him
I
on?
don't know, man. I think it sounds fishy. Because I've been hearing a lot of things on social media, which look,
it's always true.
We're not. Yeah, we're not there, so we don't know. But I've been around on Twitter, and a lot of people have been saying one of them players didn't want to
That's
take a penalty.
dangerous.
And if
no.
anyhow it was Kane, let me
It
be honest with you. Let me just nullify something.
I think it would have been a case of Kane had to be dragged off. I don't think he wanted to go off.
Exactly.
Yeah, if it was Kane, I'm sorry, we can't see him play next game because you're England's captain. Firstly, you need to lead by example. And I'm sorry. Look, we're all Spurs fans. We all have love for Kane. So it's not like I'm an Arsenal fan and I'm gonna hate. If it's coming out of my mouth, it should come out of you guys' mouths as well. If it was Kane and he didn't feel like taking a penalty, I have to start Watkins or Ivan Toney. But that's just rumors on Twitter. Again, take it with a pinch of.
We all five of us have seen Kane. We've heard him interviews. We've read all. We know more than any of these other people on Twitter about Kane. There's no way.
When Kane's injured, he's always reluctant to come off. That's what top players are. You try to take Ronaldo off for Portugal the other day. He's not going to come off. He will refuse.
Did you guys actually see in the game? Kane did get injured. He fell into the technical area.
Yeah, he did.
He fell into the technical area and hit his upper leg and his back.
He was talking to Southgate for ages. And eventually it looked like Kane gave in. I don't think he wanted to come off. And
Fair enough. I didn't want to put a narrative. Take it with a pinch of salt. Listen, I didn't want to believe it, but I was seeing it on Twitter, so I have to mention it. Look,
I think you need to stay off Twitter for a week, and we'll see if you become a more calm person. Let's put it that way, mate.
Yeah, but back to the. Oh, go for it, bro. Go for it.
You should take your own advice, Kallum.
Shut up. Kane's been injured this whole tournament, hasn't he? He was injured at the end of the Bundesliga season. He hasn't looked as half a player as he has been throughout.
So now, look, the question I'm going to have, now you've made a good point. If Kane's injured, and I remember the same situation when we were in the Champions League final. Look, this is a Spurs channel. I'm trying to bring Spurs into this topic. Kane was injured. Was it right to play Kane when he came back?
No.
Started.
He should have never have come. So why is our manager?
It's easy to say now, though. It's easy to say now. If it's gone the other way, it would have been, why haven't you played Harry Kane in the Champions League fight? We'd still.
No. You know why? You know why? Because you dropped our main player that saved us, that got us to the final. You're forgetting that
Ajax. You know it. You'd be sitting on this show.
After what Lucas Moura,
but you blame the board for Kane not starting. You sit here and go, Kane hasn't started, and it's a disgrace.
But after what Lucas Moura done against Ajax, he deserved to start. I don't think I was streaming then, to be honest with you, but I was probably one of
though. You would have come on here and when if we'd started Lucas and lost. Promise you would have come in here and went.
Yeah, I probably would have. I'm shameless, innit? I'm shameless, innit?
I've got to admit, I think that at the time I was surprised that Lucas wasn't in there. I thought obviously they'd find a way to maybe try and fit both of them in, but it's hard. It was quite a headache for Pochettino at the time. But you know, who knows if it was a right or wrong call or not? We lost the game. Would it make that much big of a difference? I don't know. We don't know, but who knows? We will go back to England, and Brad will come to you.
In a parallel universe.
Yeah, exactly. The parallel universe that we never know. But back to England, Brad, we have discussed those 5 penalties, but they deserve, I think, a special mention because they were 5 top-class penalties. You talked about Tony, wow. I mean, that's just real confidence. We know he's a confident player. That's another level, not to look at the ball. I mean, get me doing that, I'll be on the floor. So, it's just complete confidence. It's just another skill level, I think, to even try that. Palmer's penalty, really good. Alexander-Arnold at the end, walking on, very little, warming up, very little action. And the confidence, audacity to do that is very, very good. So how good were they, Brad? And if you had to choose a favourite one?
I think when I was watching it, and when Saka plays for England, to me, as an England player, they're all England players. They're not their club players. So when he stepped up for that penalty, I thought, my God, how must this guy be feeling knowing what happened last time? And my heart was in my mouth for him. And I was so pleased when he scored. I really was. And I have to admit, when Alexander-Arnold stepped up to take the final penalty, because I'm thinking, who's going to take the final penalty? When he stepped up, I thought, oh, really? I really sort of questioned it. But no, it was a perfect penalty, taken as Paul Merton once said, with a plum. I just thought they were. That was not the nervous penalty takers we've seen from England before. They just went up, and none of them really looked. There was no penalty. You could argue that Saka maybe scuffed it a little bit, but I don't think there's any penalty that you thought, that was lucky that went in. I do get annoyed with goalkeepers, though. I do get annoyed. I do wish goalkeepers would just wait a little bit extra before they decide to dive, because sometimes it looks really embarrassing when they literally dive and the guy just sort of puts it in down the middle. Just wait a little.
Sometimes it's about nerves,
Yeah.
You're waiting for someone else to take a penalty and you want to react faster than the penalty taker. It's about nerves.
Yeah.
Can I just add something that you said and you can carry on? Look, as a Spurs fan, I'm going to take off my Spurs shirt and put my Spurs hat and my Spurs underwear. Big up Saka, man. Listen, big up Saka, yeah. You're gonna only get this once from me, innit, yeah? And then you're gonna become the biggest. I'm gonna become the biggest hater. But big up Saka. It takes big nerves and big balls to step up and prove the nation. Because he had so much pressure. What a player he is. But that's all I'm gonna say about him, and then I'm gonna go back to hating him.
For me, that moment when he scored, that moment to me, and again, I'm old enough to remember this. I was at Wembley when we played Spain in the penalty shootout, and Spain actually outplayed us the whole game. And Stuart Pearce stood up to take that penalty. And you can find it on YouTube. It's one of my most wonderful moments in sport. He scored that penalty, and I was actually in the crowd that he went to, and he did that sort of thing. That weight off of his whole years and years he'd waited for that moment. I think 6 years. It's 96, and Saka obviously only had to wait 2 or 3 years. But yeah, that you're right. Big up to the guy. Big up to the guy. I mean, I thought it was discussing what happened to the 3 players that missed the penalties last time anyway, and how they got treated. But he stepped up and he scored. And I personally hope we don't go to penalties again and we just win our next 2 games and win the final. But I thought they. And again, I think we underestimate Southgate, and it's not only Southgate and his team of coaches and that, or what psychologists or whatever you want to call them. I think that they really have got that mental aspect right. Apart from the Slovakia game, that was the only time I thought they looked nervous. They looked like they were scared. But I think the England team that I've seen over the last 2 or 3 years under Southgate, he seems to have got that mental strength there. They seem to have it. I think, so I think that's underestimated. I say it's not only Southgate, it's his whole team, the whole setup they've got there. Because your mental ability is really important. I think it's really underestimated how important that is in sport. And that really is probably what makes the great players great, because
we saw that though, didn't we, with the penalties? They're well equipped and mentally.
Yeah, exactly. On a skill level, players are very similar. The good players, but they had that mentalness to go up like that and do that. I think that's what that sort of separates them from the other players. And fair play to the England boys. They just did really well. There was one penalty where you thought, they were lucky to get that. It was just, it was a really good performance. And again, that's what we all remembered after the game. That's what we all talked about after the game with a beer or two, What a penalty shootout. That's what we're all jumping up around in the pub, hugging total strangers. That's what you do, sort of thing. So, that's the beauty of football and sport in general. It does gets you like that.
I wish I could just celebrate it the same way you did, Brad. I was in the bloody Royal Albert Hall at the time. So literally watching a live performance of the Poxy Lion King. And there was me and one guy in the row in front of me, and we had it on the phones trying to watch the penalty shootout. And it was going through. And then we scored the final penalty. Me and him looked at each other, smirked, as if to say, do we jump up? And instead there's 40,000 people in an around setup with an orchestra trying to play the walk of life or some shit like that. And I'm just like,
could it have been where they were holding up he was holding up, and you could have been like, yes!
It was right at the start as well. So the show was starting at 7:30. And the penalty kickoffs were just finishing within that 7:30 to 7:40 bracket. So literally, they had live singers on, they had the orchestra, they had a bloody choir as well. It was everything.
I bet you thought the game would be done. You planned it, didn't you? Thinking England will be done and be out of the way. And
I was having dinner, so when it went to the 90 minutes, I was hoping it was going to be done by then. I can walk over there without worrying. No, 20-minute walk to the Albert Hall, looking at extra time. What's going on? What's going on? Then get in there, walk up the stairs, get to the highest tier of the bloody Albert Hall, afraid of heights. So I know that if I jump up, I'm going to literally be looking down, going all over the place, and all of that happens. But going on the... Sorry,
go on.
Wow.
Going on the mental side.
Two brilliant stories, actually, what Kallum was going on about. One was the fact that someone on 5 Live this morning said they were watching it and their kids were in another room watching it and their kids were 3 seconds behind. So when the final penalty went in, they actually had to not celebrate until they heard all the kids celebrating, and they could celebrate. And the other thing was, have you seen the clip on Twitter, the India-Pakistan cricket match that was on on that Saturday, where India and Pakistan, for anyone that doesn't know, anyone from overseas, really big rivals in cricket, incredibly big rivals, and yet they all went into the bars, or both sets of fans, to watch the England penalty shootout, and they're all England fans for that one moment. It's brilliant watching that. Brilliant.
I tell you what, though, going on the mental aspect you said about Brad, we're definitely going to need to have it against the Netherlands, because they've announced the referee for it is Felix Zawa.
You've got to pay him enough. Pay him enough. That's all we got to do. Don't need to worry about pay him enough.
German, isn't it?
Yeah, German match fixer who's actually still under review by UEFA for match fixing and all that. And always good when Bellingham accused him of corruption back in 2021 as well. So, that's going to be fun.
Well, the only thing I will say is that the Germans' big rivals on the Netherlands, we don't even enter into it. And I learned this when I was watching a Germany versus Chile World Cup match, and Chile scored, and I celebrated, as you would, being an Englishman. And the Germans sort of looked at me and said, "Why are you celebrating?" "Oh, it's a rivalry, isn't it?" He goes, "What rivalry?" The England-German rivalry is basically us. It's not them at all. They're big rivals on the Netherlands. So hopefully that will come into it. But yeah, it's not the best thing you want to read, is it, before a big game?
Well,
thanks for that, Kallum.
It takes me back to what Teejay was saying earlier about the Champions League final. Literally, I remember when we was doing that, I saw the ref for it is a 4th-tier German ref who hadn't ref a final in his life or anything like that. And it just turns out he had a mate on the UEFA board and all that. And it turns out he'd been reffing 4th League German football for about 20 years and never even got to the Bundesliga either. So, does have them moments.
Before we move on to Netherlands, is it coming home and Southgate in general, maybe even Spurs, we get a chance a bit later. I want to discuss player of the match. So I want to go round. I don't want why, I just want the player. So just that one or 2 word, if you're gonna get a full name. TJ, who's your player of the match? England v Switzerland, which ended 1-1.
Oh man. Okay, he won one. Ivan Toney. Oh, I thought that was a good penalty. Sorry, I know you didn't want why, but that takes it, man. He looked at me. He looked at me while he was watching the TV. He looked at me and I got scared. Yeah, and I got scared. And I got scared. So, Ivan Toney.
Oh, you're great. Thank you very much. Justin, who's yours?
I'll go. I mean, again, for one time only, I'll do the same as TJ. I'm going to go Saka. I thought was the only person who offered any sort of attacking threat. We didn't see it on the left, so it was all having to come down his side, and he stepped up again.
Yeah, I'll go Bukayo Saka. That confidence to step up, not only step up and take the penalty, but to score the penalty after Euro 2020 and that goal as well, which ultimately kept us in it. It was definitely his day, proving the doubters wrong. And I really liked his interview after, really humble, and I thought he was really nice to listen to. So I agree with that. Brad, who are you going for?
For what JJ and you just said, Saka, definitely.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Callum?
Could I go a bit far and wide? I'm going to go the Turkey manager because I thought he was brilliant in the Turkey-Netherlands game. That was cracking at the
That
end of
was a
it.
good game.
What was it? Yellow, red. Then it was you, F off, get out of the stadium and all that. No, to be fair, that was a quality game. But no, I'll go Saka as well. I think that was his best game at the tournament, I have to say.
I couldn't say Saka again because I praised him last time, so I had to change the player on it. But deep down, you guys done it for me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. We've reached another semi-final under Gareth Southgate. We won another penalty shootout, 3 out of 4 under him. Callum, I'll start with you, and a lot of you aren't going to like this, but I do think it has to be discussed. Has Southgate transformed England and been our most successful manager for a long period of time? Does he deserve more credit than he's currently getting? Because I certainly think he doesn't get the credit he deserves.
He don't get the credit he deserves because he don't deserve it at all, mate. Let's put it that way. I think Southgate has done well with what he's done for England, but I feel there's been a period of stagnation now where he hasn't changed to adapt to football. He's kept
We're
it.
still for a semi-final. If we might win it, that's not stagnation, is it? That's progress.
Literally, the teams we've been up against, we've either scraped through, we've had trailer trash, and literally,
Does it matter?
the
France have
only
been the
team-
same.
the only team that's been worse than us is France because they ain't scored a goal from open blinking play.
But Callum.
Don't
both
add
those
me into the
teams-
conversation.
No, sorry.
Because I already
Both-
believe you're deluded.
All right. Both
You-
those teams
Well,
are
you think
remaining.
Harry's
Both those
deluded
teams
or I
in
am?
semi-finals.
Harry,
Oh,
of
really,
course,
I am.
only Harry.
He says it all the time.
Yeah, Harry, man.
The France and England are both in the semi-final. They can't be that bad. They can't be that catastrophic, can it?
I actually have to
I
say,
don't
I think
understand
this has been the worst Euros that I've seen in my lifetime. I think
100%.
We're through.
No,
Yeah.
but it's the way but it's the way you play football. Football
It's the
is
same as
a.
Spurs. I don't care how we play. As long as we win, as long as we finish higher up.
Thank you. Okay, wait, Harry. Thank you for
honestly
saying
don't
that.
care.
Wait.
Could not care
Thank
less.
you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. All the shows
I know
we've done
a lot
about
of people
Mourinho, Conte, and all of that, it's gonna backfire when you say these type of things because now
I
the
always
way
defended them. I always defended Antonio Conte. So I never had a problem with the style. It was the not accepting mistakes that I had a problem with. It wasn't I didn't have a problem with the football. It's what it is.
Yeah, but
I think the
Southgate's
quality-
the same. He doesn't accept mistakes, does he? He doesn't accept that he didn't.
But Conte didn't get us to semi-finals and finals.
Well, no, he weren't there long enough, was he, to actually do it?
No,
To be fair,
that's also true.
the problem with Southgate is that he had this idea when he first came in of having the youngsters coming through, building up. Then he got his team. Then he stopped and he didn't understand it. And then he had too much favouritism when it comes to it. And the problem is he's gone away from favouritism a little bit in the team selection for the tournament, but he's then reverted back to it where he's stuck by the same 11 players or the same 9 to 10 players for 6 games when he can't see something's wrong. He doesn't want to admit it. He doesn't change his tactics throughout a game. He doesn't make subs until 75, 80 minutes when half the time the game is gone as well. When the teams we are up against, we should be steamrolling, we should be flattening them out. So what we have to do is say, yeah, Southgate has done very well. He has got us to another
He hasn't got everything right. I do agree. And I don't think he's perfect, but I think he's done better than people give it credit for. Like the beer cups. I mean, that's pathetic, really, isn't it? When your team tops the group to throw a big... I mean, that's low. I mean, that is proper, really poor behaviour. That's entitlement for you there. And I've said it before at Spurs, and it hasn't gone down well. And it's the same with England. You're throwing a beer cup when you top the group. You can't do any better than that. It's completely nonsensical. If you're throwing a beer cup at Southgate when we've topped the group, that is pathetic. You deserve to go out as fans. You deserve to experience the pain of going out early. That the Iceland repeat just after the group stage. That is, you can't defend that though, can you, Kallum?
No, you can't defend that. And fans are twats. Let's put it that way. In all sense of the word, if you do,
I allow
like
you to
that,
say that.
Yeah, if you do that, then you deserve to actually be penalised for actions at games, because at the end of the day, fans can be horrible, they can be mean. These are people just doing a job, simple as that. The problem is that Southgate, when he doesn't admit that he's wrong, is what doesn't stick with me. And when he knows,
But he's taken it on himself though. He said, "I take huge responsibility. I've trialled things. I picked the play." See, that's the thing. He does too much.
he hasn't
too much
trialled.
pressure
He
himself.
hasn't
But
trialled nothing.
But
He's left his favourites at home, Callum. He's changed.
What,
He's giving
Calvin
people
Phillips and
opportunities.
Henderson,
He's
who are both dead.
he's
He did
underachieving.
To be fair, the one thing you say about he left Calvin
Very
Phillips
harsh.
at home, he did turn around and say we were missing him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's the delusional line. That
But he's
literally
underachieving, Harry. The factor is
Underachieving. What semi-final?
wait, hold on. Let me make my
Underachieving.
statement. Let me make my
That's a bold
statement.
statement,
With the team that Southgate has right now,
But how comes nobody's done better?
how comes nobody's done better? Because we haven't
In
given
recent
them a
years.
chance to we haven't given them a chance to manage a team like this.
Utter waffle.
Bellingham, it's not Bellingham, Declan Rice, Kane, Foden,
People
Saka.
said that about Gerrard, about Lampard, but the team didn't do as well as Southgate's doing with this team
But
now.
back then, the only difference is back then there was other teams that were better than England.
But there is now.
Am I not right or wrong to say this?
There is now. France, Spain. Spain are doing
No,
really well. If you look
This
at them,
team,
Germany done
with
really
the,
well.
with
Very
the team that we have right now,
I think
it's
this competition's stronger
underachieving.
now. They're better
No,
teams
it's
now than there was.
definitely stronger now, and the tournament is definitely weaker now.
No,
We
I
have to
can't
agree
with
with the
that. I think
standard
it's
of
very, very
tournament.
strong. No.
The
Look at
players that
Turkey,
were playing,
improving
wait,
every
hold
year.
on. The players that were playing in them seasons that you were talking about, you're talking about Spain, Iniesta, Xavi,
Spain,
Pirlo,
Germany, Turkey, they've all
Germany.
improved
You're
in
talking
recent
about
competitions.
you had quality players in the tournament right now. He's underachieving with the team that he has right now. He shouldn't be struggling against teams.
Underachieving, what? Top in the group?
He shouldn't be
Come on.
struggling. He shouldn't be struggling
Doesn't matter.
against teams that he's
Doesn't
played
matter.
against.
But
He
Tottenham,
shouldn't
right?
have
We
to be
struggled
going
against
to
Sheffield
penalty
United. We
shootouts.
struggled against Sheffield United, right? We won 2-1 at home.
Yeah.
We won. And we were all
But
there.
it's not just about the win.
Celebrating
It's about
the game. We won.
how you hold yourself as well. There's a standard. Wait, there's a standard that you have to accept, and if you drop below that standard, for me personally,
And that standard is not getting through the group, and we've done that. We've topped the group. We've raised.
But then your standard is very low. That means your standard is very low.
The group is a low standard.
No.
Really?
Your standard is very low because I'm saying there's a standard that you have to hold. And for me personally, we're not achieving that standard. We're struggling to get by. We went through penalty shootout. So you're telling me that was?
Matter? But so are France. And
It
France
does matter, bro. It matters.
It doesn't matter.
It matters. 110% it matters.
But are you going to say this when we win this, that we're underachieving?
If we win it, we were very lucky to win it.
You already start with
excuses. We can agree with that. Wait. Oh, Harry, you disagree with me. Anybody if we win it, we're really lucky to win it. I think so.
I don't care.
No,
couldn't care less. Yeah. I'll be celebrating even more.
See, there's a standard for me. I can't see the team that he has right now should be beating teams flawlessly.
And we have beat teams.
You got Bellingham. You got Bellingham. You got quality there. You're telling me these players are not.
It doesn't make any difference if you blow a team away or not. There's just no difference. You get through either way.
There's a standard, man, and the standard's not getting met. The standard's not getting met, and I think as well his tactics play a big part because you're not playing to the team's ability. So you're not playing to. Sorry, say that again.
I just want to ask a question. What to you, if we put it slightly differently, what to you is more important? Is it style or is it substance? Is it playing well or is it winning?
Style.
Winning.
Style. For me, right now, is style. With the team that we have right now, the style could be the better thing.
Teejay will go to the school football team and go, as long as you attack, you play well, you can lose 10-0.
The style is
rather than win 1-0 and be really boring. It's about results, and that's what football's judged on.
But these 1-0 wins.
It's all judged
with these 1-0 wins, with the team that you have right now, it shouldn't be acceptable.
But can you remember 2016 against Hull City how we played? No, but you can look at the result. You remember the result. If we won, then great. You don't go back to before. I think we get hung up with. I don't care how we play next season. I could not care less. And that's going from someone who's a season ticket holder. Of course, you want to be entertained. I'd rather be entertained. But as long as we keep winning, that's all that matters. As long as we're up where we're competing, that's all that matters. Surely, results come first. Entertainment.
I think
Entertainment and lose 7-0.
To be fair, sorry, Brad. I think it is a gamble because the problem that you've got is that if you are playing well and aren't winning, you can at least say, but we're whether it be we've been unlucky or things like that, you can turn around and say, at least we're building to something. I think the problem that Southgate will come across is that if you be realistic in terms of the draw, right, that he's had, I get what Teejay is saying. We should have been beating those teams hands down comfortably.
Of course.
Absolutely,
Of
right?
Yeah, there's an expectation, isn't there, behind what we've got to do.
But the thing that will come back, and let's not forget, we've seen this under Southgate. We saw it in the previous Euros. We saw it against France at the World Cup. And it'll be interesting to see if we see it against the Dutch. When we come up against a team, a strong top team, we crumble. You saw it in the Euros. We went 1-0 up. He played the same tactic and he lost it. Against France, we got back to 1-1. He did the same thing. The worry will be is, yes, you can win these games, but at some point,
you have to start playing your game.
So, yeah, I agree with you, Harry. If he wins this tournament, it might be the boringest football in the world, but it is a tournament. I would be happy with it. My worry and my concern will be is that if we go on Wednesday and we stink the place out like we have done, I don't see us winning. And the problem then you have is you've then got to, somebody has got to pick up those pieces and tell these players, actually, no, you are good. It's just, you've come, that you've got to get beyond this whole idea of almost like an inferior complex. To me, watching us, it's felt like an inferior complex, that we are the second team. We're wasting our... And the worry thing on Wednesday is we'll do the same and the Dutch will punish us for it.
We're wasting our spark. We're wasting what we have right now. For me personally, and I believe we can do better.
Fair enough. You could well be right.
Could I just throw it out there? If we are to get rid of Southgate and we've played the most boring, turgid football that some of us think we have during this tournament, we feel that we could have done better. Top in the group was, good achievement, but it was all based on every other result going our way and everyone getting as bad a results as us, and we just happened to get there. If Southgate does go, what manager realistically is going to want to go in there and take this on?
No one.
Or will...
Oh, whoa. No, I disagree with you on that one, Harry, 100%. You look at that group of players and you look at what want to manage them to you and what is 100%.
Come on, Justin.
I guarantee Pochettino would want that job. Eddie Howe would
You've got loads of managers that's going to want to take over these type of players.
People that would look at that quality.
But I think they'll look at the environment that Southgate's talked about with throwing beer cups and go, not for me, I don't think. I think generally the England job brings a lot to it. I think there'll be hesitance.
I think there'll be people, those two in particular, will look at that job and think, I can do something with this. I have got a plethora of players.
The likes of Graham Potter will really, but Eddie Howe, I think, would choose Newcastle over England. And I think that's the reality. So it's going to be a better feel. It's going to be a lot easier for him with a lot less pressure.
Personally, I think it's between Pochettino, Howe and Potter. I think any one of those three will be after the job. And I think we would play a style of football that people would get behind. I think
Potter would do a good job.
Quality that you've seen these players can do. I think all three of them would want that job. And I know what you're saying about Newcastle there, but let's not forget Newcastle is going to at some point not put up with Eddie Howe if he doesn't get them back into the top four. They will be looking at another manager. They probably already are. So you almost sit there and think, is that a prime opportunity for him to turn around and go, actually, I could take this job. I could come to an agreement. I can take this job. They can go and get the star name they want. It works well for everybody. So I think there'll be people that will want to manage the likes of Gordon, Saka, Foden, Bellingham. We potentially have a Ballon d'Or winner in our ranks and what have you. And I think it will be nice that we will have people as well that will be prepared to bring in the under-21s or we've seen it under Spain, who aren't prepared, who are not afraid to play a 16-year-old. I think we will see whoever takes that job won't pick people because of merit, won't be sitting there going, oh, I wish this player was fit, or I'm going to play everybody at left back because I'm not prepared to play people in that position who have played left back. We are going to have somebody who comes in and is going to pick people for the positions that they are available to do and for what is our best strength at this point. Yes, okay, we're at a semi-final, but our best strength would be to go out there and absolutely dominate the match, because I think we have the players to do that. We see it at the club levels. It just seems like the tactics are different when they come to international level.
No, okay, fair enough. Justin, I know you have to jump, so thank you very much for coming on. Where can people find you? Before you go, if you could give your England and Netherlands score prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to say I'll go to penalties again. I think it will.
Fuck.
I think that we will see, because not being funny, the Dutch haven't been that spectacular in this tournament. Okay, they had one good game against Romania, but they had 6 minutes against Turkey. I thought Turkey were the better team in that one. So I can imagine both teams are going to sort of bore the place out. So I'll need another tin of paint to get through that. But yeah, I think 4-3 to us on penalties.
Lovely.
And
love the positivity.
as I say, I'll probably be back on here at some point as we've got to the final, won the tournament, and I'll be like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So yeah, either here or Twitter, or probably hiding in a basement, cheering to myself that somehow we've bored the place out and we've won it. So yeah, thanks for having me on, and I will see you all again soon. Take care.
Thank you, Justin. Have a fantastic evening. See you later. All the best. Thank you very much to Justin. The show must go on. We will move on from Southgate because I think we could spend all night.
Can I just make one point about Southgate? The irony is who did he take over from? Sam Allardyce. So it could have been a lot worse, England performance.
It could have been. And people forget that. Roy Hodgson, Sam Allardyce, and people jumped down Southgate's throat. But they were the same ones going, England, it's coming up. But the same fans are going, it's coming home every year and get over the top. The same
Southgate's record before he was taking over England was relegation battle, though.
All I'm saying is that it could have been Sam Allardyce. It's only that Sam Allardyce's, shall we say, indiscretions that got him the sack for an English job, and Southgate was there. And I agree with what people have been saying, that when we get to a situation where we can win something, we go defensive, and we saw that against Italy. We should have beaten Italy in that final. We were 1-0 up, outplaying them after half an hour. If we'd have gone for the goals, we would have won that comfortably, but we didn't. We saw the same thing, I think, as you say, against France. But to be honest, I'm just thinking when Teejay was talking there, I'm thinking back to all the finals that we've been in. 2018, 2020 or 2021, the World Cup last year, we've actually played pretty well in a lot of those games. I don't recall us playing really boring football. There were times where we got too defensive, as I said, like the actual final. But I'm thinking, obviously we're playing Iran, but we put 6 past Iran. We beat Senegal in that match pretty comfortably. We beat Germany incredibly comfortably when we played.
Yeah, I remember Germany. Germany was a good game.
It's never going to glue together as it does with club football, because you don't have much time. They're not used to playing with each other. It's never going to go, we're never going to beat Slovenia 7-0. It's never going to quite be like that. They do friendlies. It's bitty, isn't it? You give people opportunities. It's not really the same team. You trial goalkeepers. You don't really get an opportunity only on the training ground. So people go, hang on a minute, why is this player not scoring a hat-trick, or why is it not coming together? That's why. And it's never going to work in international football. We never look at France. It's not working. The relationship with Mbappe is not working. They're not using him. They're not utilising him in the right way, but they're finding a way to win. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and also the other thing is I'll have my go at Southgate if he's been playing pretty poorly during the game. I'll be watching it going, oh, come on, do better. But when I wake up the next morning, it's like, well, that's gone now. I'm not going to...
Yeah, and we're through again.
Yeah, we're through again. There are lots of things in life that I worry about or get pissed off about, but that's not one of them. So
no, it should be as well. So absolutely, completely agree. So thank you very much. We will, focusing on Netherlands. Kallum, how are you feeling? Firstly, about Wednesday, and talk me through what your lineup would look like.
I'm definitely nervous. I think the Dutch are looking quite good, and obviously they have got the top scorer in the tournament in Gakpo playing for him, so you definitely got to isolate him out of the game. If I did have to go for a lineup, it'd have to be Pickford in goal with Shaw, Gahey, Stones, and Trent at right back. I'd go probably Rice and Bellingham as 8s in the middle, with Gordon, Saka, Foden, and Kane up top if Kane's available. If not, go for Tony up top for it, mate.
Okay. Thank you very much, Callum. TJ, what would your lineup be?
Same as before, but the only difference is I'm slipping in Gordon, and if Kane's injured, as you said, I would play Tony. But have I missed anybody?
If he's fit, would you still start Kane?
No, I won't.
No.
No, I won't. I feel we need a target man, and
you have to think about it though, didn't you? And I understand that because Kane hasn't set the world alight. I think he's still carrying an injury, and Tony's come in and done the job well. And I think the comment says here from Pokey in the comments in YouTube, just keep this team the same. We've won. Keep it the same. Well, apart from maybe you bring Mark Gay back in, or you bring Luke Shaw.
Gay. Sorry, I forgot Gay. Yeah. Obviously, you bring the centre backs back in, but I feel, look, while watching the last game, I felt like we lacked the target man. Whenever Saka crossed it in, there was no target, and Tony's a target man. Yeah, and there was many crosses. I could count on my hand, maybe 5 or 6 crosses or 4 on the top of my head where Kane wasn't in the position where a target man should have been. I'm not saying Kane. See, look, again, it's the way we're playing, and obviously maybe he is playing with an injury. So I believe we should give Tony a run. Or you even got Watkins there. That's why you bring 3 strikers. Utilize it. And I'm not saying you're not gonna Kane's not gonna get any minutes. That's the whole point of your squad. Use the squad. The squad is there for you to rotate. Look, you have 90 minutes, or you have 50 minutes to play Tony. Then if it's not working, put Kane back on. Play Watkins, play Gordon. You bring this squad. There's no point of them being bench boosters. Moral support from the bench. It don't work like that.
Pokey says in the YouTube chat, comments are really impressed versus Switzerland. JB harsh on him, I think, to take him out. But
yeah, I know. It's so true. Good. No, it's but Gay has been really good this tournament. You have to. I think 2 and 2 plus. Look, I think Gay is probably a better centre back, but it is a harsh decision for me bringing Gay. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just deflated, man. It's a hard decision. Watkins, for me, Watkins is there, but I think Tony, after seeing what he that penalty, convinced me he's ready. He's ready for some minutes, man.
Yeah.
That penalty was medicine. Like, I watched his face, and I was scared. And I wasn't even in the goal.
Brad, what would your team be?
I tend to stick with more or less the same lineup, but I'd like to see Gordon on the left rather than, say, Trippier and Saka on the right. So you've got 2 naturally attacking players. In the middle, I'd keep Maino. Yeah, I wouldn't drop Kane for the simple reason that, one, that, he doesn't look fit. Don't get me wrong. I think he is playing with that back injury, but he's had from memory, he's had 3 chances in this tournament. He scored 2 and hit the bar with the other one. So
Yeah,
that to me suggests that the service isn't there, and if he gets good service, he'll score. And I don't think he's finished yet. He's England's top goal scorer. He's Tottenham's goal scorer. Why would
Of course not, but he's not. But the problem is he's not getting in the right positions. He's always dropping too deep. So
I don't think he's had service. I don't think he's had service.
So look, you have to consider this. I only watched that last game. So previous to that, like I said, I put my hand up. I've only watched that last game.
Yeah, we haven't.
That last game, he was in the wrong positions. He wasn't the target man. Saka had multiple chances, and he just wasn't there. He would have to cut it back. Again, I'm just judging for that one game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think we've created a lot for him the whole tournament. And as I said, when he has had the chance, he scored. So I wouldn't, as long as he's fit, obviously, which I think he is. He mentioned it was cramp. So, that's quite understandable. But why would you, drop our best ever goal scorer? I don't, unless he's injured or totally out of form. And I don't think, even though he doesn't look himself, I don't think you can say he's totally out of form. And he's the sort of person that could get you that winning goal. That's what great players do. You don't see them at all, and then suddenly they pop up and score the goal. So yeah, I wouldn't. I'd more or less go with more. I'd like to see Gordon on the left. To be honest, I'd like to see Southgate, getting back to Southgate, make these substitutions earlier if it's not going well. I think when the players that have come on have looked good, they've looked okay. I mean, you can't start everybody, but I'd like to see players like Eze have a go. But I think the winning team mentality comes into it. Keep the winning team, don't change the winning team. Do you maybe drop, if you want to not be unfair on Gaia, whatever his name is, do you bring him in? Stones? You play in space as Stones as a proper centre half. Can he play on the left? And then being a bit harsh on Konza.
What about Foden? We haven't really spoke about Foden.
Yeah, no, you're right. Foden, I mean, you know better than I do. I mean, is he actually playing in the position he plays for City? I don't think he is.
The problem is he wants to be a pro.
Before you go on, the one thing I have noticed is that players like Foden and Kane, for that matter, and Saka, when they've been playing for their clubs, they score so many goals from having shots outside the box. And yet, they're not doing it. I mean, apart from Saka's goal, Kane's a good example. He's a really good player to have a shot from outside the box. This sort of always he only scores from 6-yard box is rubbish. He scores a lot of goals.
Yeah.
I don't recall him actually having a shot in this whole tournament. So
no, that's the thing.
Yeah.
To move it on, because some of us have to jump. Finish with 2 final questions that I don't know why. I just want like a single answer. So the first one is the score prediction: England-Netherlands. So just the score, if that's okay. I'm going to go in a random order. Who looks like they're not thinking what it is? Kallum, what's your score prediction?
2-1 England.
2-1 England. Positivity, love it. Teejay, looking to you to be positive for once. Come on.
1-1. That's me being positive.
Will we get through?
Yeah, penalties.
Okay, I'll take that note. As long as we get through. Brad, I could always rely on you to be positive.
I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go. Well, I was thinking 1-0, but I thought, no, why not 3-1? Let's believe that we can. I mean, again, I was at Wembley when we beat Holland or the Netherlands 4-1. When everyone expected us, this is one of the best teams, and we beat them 4-1. I'm hoping for another performance like that. And I just think we're destined to get to the final. I think it's destined to be an England-France final, and it's going to be 0-0. It's going to be 0-0 in the final with a minute to go or injury time. We're going to get a penalty, and Kane is going to score it, and we're going to win the final 1-0. Because I've seen Spurs and England. Well, we all have since we beat Chelsea at Wembley in the last time we won a trophy. I've lost count of how many semi-finals and finals I've seen Spurs and England in. Well, actually, England only won, to be fair, and I haven't seen them win one of them. Not one of them. So we're due. We're due. We're due. I'm due to see either Spurs or England win something. So yes, I think we're destined for this. Very much the same way as 2019 Champions League, although we didn't win the final that time, but we seem to rely on our luck a lot, and we got there. So that's probably a bit longer than a one-word answer. But
don't worry, we got another one coming up, and that is it coming home? So, yes or no, is it coming home? TJ? You say no,
It's
really.
coming home. It's coming home.
Is it all this
It's coming
negativity
home.
to say it's going
You know
home?
what? Yeah, I know you want one word answer, but sorry, I have to say this. It's coming home. I believe it is. You know, we're gonna shithouse. Sorry, mind my
Yeah.
language, but we're gonna beep our way through it. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? You
Keep
know.
our way through it. No, fair enough. Love it. Kallum, is it coming home?
No.
Oh, great. Of course, we'll load you, can't we? No, fair enough. I love the honesty. That's what we're after. Brad, is it coming home? Come on.
I refuse to say that. I have to say because
I haven't said it yet either. To be fair.
yeah, back in 2021, you can find it on Twitter. Actually, I actually did a couple of little songs of that song, just basically the chorus, that song, a little sort of 1 minute clip of me doing it, and after every England win. And I said I'd do it for the final, but of course we lost the final. So I said I'd learn the whole song for the final, and we lost the final. So yeah, it's basically the same chords for that. And I did Sweet Caroline in between. Actually, check it out on Twitter. It's on there somewhere from about 3 years ago. Yeah,
somewhere you can find it somewhere. That's all that matters.
but I refuse to say that. But obviously,
Yeah.
my answer from the last question, you know what my feelings are. So.
No, I do. Thank you very much, all of you, for answering that. Thank you, everyone who listened in. That wraps us up nicely for today. So thank you all for your contribution, whether it be in the live chat, listening after, and getting in touch. We do really appreciate it. A lot of you listen after as well on podcast platforms. So massive big up to you. Kallum, thank you. Where can people find you?
No, cheers as always, H. You can find me on Park Lane Podcast. You can find me at CamStubbs97 on Twitter as well. So, yeah, go and follow Park Lane. Go and follow H's content as well. And he is still working with us, even though, thankfully, we got rid of him. It has been peaceful the last couple of weeks as well. Where's
I
it
can
really
imagine.
taking your spot nicely, mate? It's filling in nicely.
He's doing well. No, in all seriousness, he's doing very well. Very, very safe hands.
But no, as always, it's great to be on your show, H, and thanks very much. Until next time, mate.
Yeah, till next time. Thank you very much. If you need to jump as well, that's completely fine. So thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
All the best.
Thank
See you
you.
later, Kallum.
Okay,
Thank you. TJ, thank you very much for coming on. Where can people find you? The people you should know, shouldn't they? But if they don't,
You can find me everywhere, man. I'm usually on this channel. I'm usually on Spurs Kings TV. I'm usually on Tottenham Away. And I am going to start uploading on my channel. So Spurs.
you say this every single show. You said it last week. It's not going to happen.
I've seen you
But you
that
know
many
what? Look.
times. I've never seen that before.
Stop saying
But
it.
you know what? Look, one thing that I have to say, I did start rebranding it. So if you go on my channel, I have a new banner. It's just, I don't know if I'm
How
going
many
to.
times has that happened though? How many new profile pictures have you had, or new names, or new Twitter accounts, or new this, new that? Come on.
It's
I've
just
been with you Spurs
motivation,
King
man.
TV for a long, long time. What's it been since lockdown? Gonna rebrand and restart.
Yeah,
Come
I've been
on.
saying I'm going to do it, and I've never got to it.
Oh dear. No, thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for
Brad,
having me on as well, by the way. Really
no,
appreciate
thank
it.
you for giving me your time. No, it's excellent. Always keen to get you on, get back to you with more dates as well to come on. Brad, thank you very much for coming on. Obviously, someone pulled out. And trusty Brad took their place. So, no, do really appreciate you coming on, Brad. Where can people find you?
Cheers, Harry. Well, on football-related matters, Brad Hotspur is my Twitter handle, but I very rarely tweet. But I'm normally on shows whenever I get invited. Irish Hotspur fan show, normally on that. But I do have a music channel, which you can see there, Blue Sofa Songs.
I enjoyed it. I checked it out. I enjoyed some of the music.
Oh, thank you. It's there's probably about 40 or 50 songs on there at the moment. The early days are just me. Early days are just me playing live to a camera phone with a guitar and a mic and an amplifier. But the others, in later days, they're basically I'm using all the musical software and multi-tracks, and I play all the instruments, play the drums. And no, I don't play the drums, as a lie. I play the bass, I sing, play guitar, write all the lyrics, write all the music. I use drum loops more than actually play the drums, and put a video together, depending on what time I've got. I'm trying to get a song out every month, but I've decided to stop that because it means I have to rush things. So there's about 40 or 50 songs on there. Check out. They're quite serious, some of them. Some are quite light-hearted. Some are political, which you may or may not agree with. That's fine. Just check it out and do the old wonderful things. Click like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Share. There should be a new song coming out in the next couple of weeks when I get a chance to record it. And it's called My England. Not football related, I have to say, but it's called My England. That'll be out soon. But yeah, check it out. And also click like, subscribe to these guys as well. And I always get this wrong. That's it. Because they, everyone puts a lot of effort into this sort of stuff. And also the guys that were on before me. It's
quite hard.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I always do it. I'll go like that. Or it takes me ages. I'll turn the camera off and go. Yeah.
It's a great community, which I sort of basically came into contact with during lockdown, as I think probably all of us did. And we're all there for each other. We all want to support each other because for whatever we do, we're trying our best to do something and leave a mark in this world, hopefully for good.
Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for good. Let's make that very clear. No, nicely said. So thank you. Go check Kallum, Justin, Brad, and Teejay out on all socials. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're listening on the podcast platform, obviously don't forget to smash that follow button and a 5-star review. But also pause this episode. No, it's nearly finished, but pause it anyway. Come over to YouTube and smash that subscribe button, even if you don't watch the content, because it does help the channel. So thank you very much. But for now, a big come on you Spurs and come on England.
Come on England.
Working as a manager at Celtic Park when we met you. We picked you out, you shook us up and turned us around. You've turned us into something new. Ange Postecoglou, you know that we believe it when you say you're gonna change it. Ange Postecoglou, we're the mighty Tottenham and nobody's gonna stop them. Oh, we look so fine in blue and lily white. And then he said to me, I'm from a land down under. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh.